is a very powerful program. It is an electronic spreadsheet program that allows you to enter data, do calculations, analyze that data, present it in various formats, share it electronically, and as we get introduced to this program, it is my desire that you feel comfortable with the basic implementation of the program, that you see the versatility possible, and that it actually is a time saver. It also saves you in the amount of data you need to enter to have accurate information. When it comes to numbers, making errors is not a good thing. It's not as easy as running spell check. So first I'd like to take a look at the screen itself. It looks very similar to our Word document in that it has the same ribbon and with a few changes, but it is so similar that you can see how the programs interact real well together. So we'll start at the very beginning at the top. At the beginning in the center here, I have the title bar. Right now I've opened my third Excel workbook, so that's why it's defaulting to book 3. And my title would appear next to the word Excel when I save it. To the right we have our helps menu, our ribbon options, how much or none to display. We can minimize and we can restore and close our document. And on the left we have the quick access menu, which is nice for those things we use commonly, such as save, to undo our work, or to redo it. You can, just like in Word, you can add other buttons that you use a lot, and that typically could be spelling. But in Excel, it's nice to be able to sort things alphabetically or numerically, so in ascending or descending order. So those are a few of the features. The ribbon itself consists of the tabs: Home, Insert, Page Layout, Formulas, Data, Review, View. So Review, you know, is your spell check, and thesaurus, very helpful. We're going to add a new section called Formulas. Our page layout having to do with your margins. You may visit that frequently. Insert tab, things like pictures can be inserted, and then we're going to get to the area of charts. But our Home tab, just like in Word, is the most frequently used tab. The organization of the ribbon consists of the tabs, and they are then set into groups at the bottom of the ribbon. And those again are familiar: clipboard, font, alignment. A new category or group is number, and we format numbers in a lot of different formats, one being the date. You know, we do MLA dates as well as what we call business dates. The styles, the cells themselves can be formatted, and then the editing group. So just as before, we'll identify the tab, the group, and the button within the group. If there is an arrow, that's your launcher for more options. If there's an arrow next to a particular tool, a button in a group, such as this font color, you'll see that font color selections are available. They're set up the same as in Word, in themes, standard colors, and even more color capability. So lots of options that anytime you see an arrow means that there is more. So let us begin by getting past the ribbon and getting into the Excel portion. Each of these rectangles is called a cell. All your data will show up in the cell. When you enter the data in a particular cell, the name is shown up here in the name box. So when I point, let's see if it shows, there's a name box. It says that I'm in cell A4, C10, and it's identified by the highlighted column and row C10, and the outline around the active cell. Nothing else will go into any other cell except that cell right now. When I want to enter data, I will use a formula bar. It's this great big bar. It can hold unlimited data, numeric and or text, and whatever we enter here appears in the active cell. It does not become permanent in that active cell until I hit enter. If I want to make a change, I can click back on the cell. It's now active again. If I only want to make one correction, one slight correction, I need to either click up in the formula bar where I'd like the correction to take place, or if I want to correct it in the cell, I can double click in the cell and make that correction. So I can do that. All the work takes place in the formula bar, does not become part of the active cell until I hit enter or click the check mark, which is the same as hitting enter. When I enter some data, and I can click enter, now it's part of the cell. If I want to realize that I've made a mistake before I hit the enter key or click the enter check mark, I can click the X, which is to cancel my entry. Okay, I'm going to delete everything that I've done so far. By the way, if you've not become aware, on your keyboard you have a backspace key. Everything with the backspace key erases to the left. If you will find and locate your delete key, it erases everything to the right. So the delete key erases to the right, backspace to the left, and that is in the same thing in Word. So we've got our name box. We can see which cell we're in. If I want to go to a specific cell, I can go to Z10, type it in the name box. Because I couldn't see it on the screen, now I can. Z is highlighted, row 10 is highlighted. I'm going to go back to the beginning. To go back to the beginning, I do my control key and home. Control H-O-M-E, home. Find your home key. Control home takes you to the beginning. Control end, E-N-D, takes you to the last cell in your that you're working on, and it's a quick way to move around your document. Works the same way with Word. If you're doing that 15-page thesis paper, control home, control end. Wonderful keys, combinations to get you where you need to be. So I'm back to cell A1. At the bottom, it shows me I'm on sheet 1. If I want to add another sheet, I just click the plus sign. The status bar tells me I'm ready. To the right, it gives me my view of normal. A page layout view. This is used in your assignments. Same exact information, just a different view, but allows you to add headers to the left, to the center, or to the right. Nice feature to have. Most of our work will be done in normal view. We have a page break view that gives you the option to look at where you want to break your pages. You can artificially break those, or you can just examine where the natural page breaks are. The zoom slider, like in Word, allows you to zoom in so you can take a better look. Our default font is Calibri. It is a sans serif font, meaning there's no little points or arrows coming off of it. That sans means without. So without serifs, or the little points. Times New Roman does have serifs. So the smooth shape of the letters and the numbers make it really easy to read. Size 11 is an adequate size, although you can change the size to be larger or smaller. So back to our cells. ABC, those are your columns. Think of columns as they hold up buildings. Columns hold up buildings, so they are vertical. Rows 1, 2, 3 are horizontal, like boards or siding on a building. So that gives you perspective. We always name our active cell with the column first and the row second. Each of these workbooks, back to up here, each of the workbooks has approximately 255 worksheets in it, and those worksheets are capable of adding as many worksheets as you want, depending on information, but on the average of 255 worksheets is a maximum in one workbook. So 255 worksheets. on one worksheet, and we're on sheet number 1 right now. Sheet number 1, there are 16,384 columns. So that's your ABCs across. Rows 1, 2, 3. On one worksheet, there are 1,048,576 rows. So to test this out, I'm going to go up here. I have done this. And to get to the very last column, that's X, F, D. You do not need to capitalize. And my bottom row is 1,048,576. And I'll hit enter. And it takes me to the very last column and the very last row. XFD, 1,048,576. This is a massively powerful program. This is one worksheet in one workbook that has, on the average, approximately 255 worksheets, depending on the amount of data that you're going to enter. I want to go back to the beginning. I can't scroll that fast. I'm just going to do Control Home, and that'll take me back faster than any other way. So let's try a few things. First thing I want to do is identify my active cell, and notice my mouse pointer changes depending on where I move. So let's get some data entered. In A1 I'm going to enter a 1, in A2 a 2, and A3 a 3. Remember, it's not permanent until I hit enter or the check mark. I work a lot in the cells, and you will find that's comfortable too, although the information is all in the formula bar. Until we enter, it is not, until we hit enter, it is not part of the active cell. Okay, so to select this information, I'm going to use my mouse, and notice the mouse pointer is a fat or open crosshairs. Crosshairs are like you might see in a scope or in some camera lenses. To select, you want to have the open crosshairs. The first cell remains empty looking, but you can see the border outlining the active cells is there. When I move my mouse pointer on the edge of the selection, you'll see skinny crosshairs with 4 arrows. That allows me to move this anywhere I want. And the third crosshairs we're going to identify are skinny crosshairs in the bottom right-hand corner. You must be in the bottom right-hand corner. That little black square is called the fill handle. And when I get my skinny mouse hairs on the fill handle, depress my left mouse button and pull down, I get some sequencing faster than I could ever type it, and a whole lot more accurate. In column B, I'm going to 2, enter, and a 4. This time, I'd like to do even numbers. I'm going to select with my open crosshairs, get my skinny crosshairs on the fill handle, and pull down. Third column, I'm going to do a 1, and a 3. Select those two with the open crosshairs, skinny crosshairs on the fill handle, not the arrows, and fill down. I'm going to try ABC, A, B, C. I'm just hitting enter after each entry. Got to hit enter to get it into the cell. Select with open crosshairs, fill handle, no arrows. Notice alphabet does not sequence. ABC, ABC. This program can only sequence things related to numbers. It will not do fractions, but it will do decimals. 0.5. Enter, and I'm going to select both those. I just want to give it enough to know what in the world I want to do. A sequence every 0.25. When I do a month, I can do the whole date and hit enter. The format changes, and again we'll go back to this number group to look at formatting numbers, because a date is a number. I'm going to grab that, and notice it'll sequence. I'm going to type Monday, which is text, I type that, it will even sequence days because it knows what I want to do. I can also sequence horizontally. Days are related to numbers, and that's why that sequencing can take place. So let's go ahead and wrap this up and get on with our lesson.